الحمد لله الحمد لله للمنعم على ما أعطى وأتبع رضاه لمنتكب مما خلف وأتبع هواه الذي لما أسره العبد وما أكفى ولا يترك أحدا ولا ينسى أحمده سبحانه وتعالى حمدا كثيرا إذ لا يستحق الحمد إلا إياه وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الذي اختاره الله واصطفاه صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا عباد الله إن الله تبارك وتعالى يقول ولا تتمنوا ما فضل الله به بعضكم على بعض للرجال نصيب مما اكتسبوا وللنساء نصيب مما اكتسبن واسألوا الله من فضله إن الله كان بكل شيء عليم وأيضا إن الله يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها وإذا حكمتم بين الناس أن تحكموا بالعدل إن الله نعم يعظكم به إن الله كان سميعا بصيرا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلي لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Thank Allah that we are grateful to the one that those who follow him is always pleased with him. And we thank the one that those who follow their whims and caprices, he knows how to deal with them. And we thank the one that knows what his servants, what they make hidden or what they make public. We are sincerely grateful to the one that will never abandon anyone, neither will he forget any of us. Thank him most sincerely. Because to us, nobody deserves to be thanked beside him. We also testify that there is no other deity of worship beside him, the one, the unique. We also testify that our noble Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, is his messenger and servant, the one that was chosen and the one that was loved by him. Peace and blessing of Allah be upon him. Those who follow him, members of his household, until the day of Qiyamah. O servant of Allah, Allah tells us in the glorious Quran that you should not wish to have what your brothers have gotten. The one that you do not know how they get what they have gotten. Let's say you better know that whatever a man work for will come to him. He will have a portion from whatever he has done. Even when a woman, to a woman, whatever she has done also, she has a portion of her work. Allah says you should ask Allah to give you bounties, to provide for you, because Almighty Allah is the one that He has knowledge of everything, even which you could less imagine. Allah also tells us that Allah commands you to return the trust to the owner. That when you judge between people and when you lead human beings, Allah says you should judge or you lead with justice. That you should know Allah is admonishing you with the best of admonition. That you should know that Almighty Allah is all seeing and all knowing. Or you will believe. Fear Allah and always say the right thing at the right time. If you do this, Allah will cleanse you of your work. He forgives you of your sin. And whosoever follow Allah and His Messenger has indeed been given the greatest of all the gifts. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Allah once again. Uh, we are sincerely grateful to Him for His mercy and His blessing. If we look at our country today, Look at the number of Muslims that are in this country. Discover that we are more than the half of the total population. If you look at what has happened or what is happening to us as a nation based on corruption, the number or percentage of people who are corrupt, if we want to be conservative, is about 95%. We're going to be sincere with ourselves. It is even more than 100% of all of us that are corrupt in this country. And that is why, if you look at also the blessing that Almighty Allah has given to us, there is no country in the world who should stand next to us when it comes to development. We want to use what Allah has given to us sincerely and rightly. That is why the title or the topic of my khutbah today is Islam, Corruption, and National Development. I repeat, Islam, corruption, and national development. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, today we know that a pressing issue that affects not only our communities, but also the very fabric of our nation, corruption. Corruption is a pervasive problem that infiltrates various sectors of our society, including politics, business, education, healthcare, and every aspect of human endeavor. It undermines the national development. It erodes public trust among our leaders and perpetuates poverty and inequality. As Muslims, we must understand the significance of this issue through the lens of our faith and recognize our moral obligation to combat it. Let us look at the teachings of Islam on corruption first. Islam teaches us to be honest and to have integrity. In Islam, honesty and integrity are fundamental values. The Quran emphasizes the importance of truthfulness and justice in all affairs. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتُدْلُوهَا بِهَا إِلَى الْحُكَامِ لِتَأْكُلُوا فَرِيقًا مِنْ أَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ بِالْإِثْمِ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah said, do not consume one another's wealth unjustly, or send it in bribery to the rulers or to those who are, to the judges, in order that they might aid you to consume a portion of the wealth of the people in sin, while you know what you are doing is unlawful. This verse highlights the prohibition of unjust acquisition of wealth and moral corruption that arises from bribery and dishonesty when individuals prioritize personal gain over ethical conduct. They contribute to a cycle of corruption that harms our society as a whole. Let us look briefly at the corruption in various sectors of our economy, of our daily life. Like I said, that corruption manifests in various forms across different sectors. The most important one, that if it is good, all other one will be good, is the political corruption. In the political arena, corruption often takes the form of bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power. Leaders who engage in corrupt practices betray the trust placed on them by their constituents. This undermines democracy and leads to ineffective governance as decisions are made based on personal interest rather than on common good of the people. If you check the rules and laws that are made in Nigeria, at least in the last 30 years that we have known, when a particular government is interested in a particular policy, be rest assured it is for some group of people within that government because of what they want to gain. Most of the time, it is never in the interest of the people that they are leading. I do not know whether you are aware that the current thing that we are all talking about is the issue of tax bill, which everybody is waiting to know what is the stand. Perhaps my own stand on this tax bill is that government, even if they want to charge us 90,000 from 100,000 which we are making, two things have to be put in place. We have to see good government. We have to see provision of infrastructures. We have to see welfare of our citizens. And we have to see serious fight against corruption. The government is providing all what we are looking for, what they were supposed to do as government. If our children can go to a school averagely and normally, if we can travel between here from Abuja to Kano to Maiduguri without any problem, and the roads are good, and we can get food as little as we wanted it. And the little way that in which we want to live, that we are able to get little accommodation, not that we are competing with those Allah has blessed as rich people, that we want to sleep and we get a place to sleep. And government now tells us that they need to increase this tax. None of us will argue with them. The government tells us this is what they want to do. We will not say anything. We are seeing the way one person is building 753 buildings with our money, and you say we should begin to pay tax the more. You are deceiving yourself. All what you are trying to say is that you are teaching us to become criminals because we all have a way out. Of no matter the policy which you bring, we must have our way out. If you want to know, go to most people's houses and see the way people are boycotting NEPA because they must leave, because they have increased the tariff and there is no equivalent money for people to pay. What you are teaching us is that all of us should learn to be criminal. And when we become criminal, your power will not be able to hold us again. You have to think twice that everything which you are doing has an effect and it has a result. Also, when you look at those people who are even in the political positions, you will also pity us. Many of them who are in most positions, they pay to have those positions. And those who have paid, the first thing they will look for is that they want to recoup the money which they pay to get the position. How do you think on earth those who are in those positions will be able to do anything? Even those that we voted for, they paid for it because we all collected money from them. I listened to somebody. He said, if you want to compete, if you want to contest for the position of governorship in Nigeria, you must be able to have at least 4 billion naira that you will burn it or you throw into the water and you turn your eye back and you will not look back. If that is true, how on earth will somebody become the governor in this country and you expect him to perform when he has bought the position that he's leading? All what he has also used it to get that position. Even a madman will first look for to recoup his money first before he thinks of all of you. And those of us will also be complaining that they are not doing anything for us. Well, we have forgotten that we have actually sold those things to those people. They bought it, and whatever they do, we cannot complain again. And the next aspect of the life that if it is good, that our country will be good, is the economic corruption. In the business sector, corruption can stifle competition and innovation. When contracts are awarded based on favoritism rather than merit, it discourages honest entrepreneurs and create an environment where unethical behavior is rewarded. This hampers economic growth and development. And also, if you look at the way in which government contracts, with the way in which they are being given, you will also strive for this country. You will pity us that when are we going to progress and when are we going to be there where Almighty Allah has promised us. You see the way they even sell it to themselves, and after selling, it is selling of different layers. This one will sell to this one will sell to that, and at the end of the day, we will not see the result of all what they said they wanted to do. We do not say people should not make money. That is not what Islam is saying. But you should not make money at the detriment of the welfare of the people which you are leading. Another area that corruption has eaten deep to us, it is in the area of education. Corruption in educational institutions, such as bribery for grades or admission, compromises the integrity of the educational system. It deprives deserving students of opportunities and leads to poorly educated workforce, ultimately affecting the national development. I do not know whether we all see that the entire world, they are moving, in fact, they are flying. Why to us in this country, many of us were still sitting down. We did not understand that the entire world is flying. People are now on AI. All what we are hearing now, it is something that people have forgotten in the last 20, 30, 40 years. That is what we are talking about. Look at every aspect of human endeavor based on education. You discover that it's only Almighty Allah that can help us. The rates at which the things are going, if we are not careful, we might not have tomorrow in this country. Perhaps We could also look at another area, which if you go there, you feel like crying. It is in the area of the health sector. In the health sector, corruption can be particularly devastating. When resources meant for public health are misappropriated, it results in inadequate services, suffering, and loss of life. Citizens are denied access to the healthcare they need, leading to wider public health crisis. Perhaps, let me give you one example of the crisis of which we are having in this country, in the area of sex sector. Do you know in this country, as I'm talking to you today, there are only two hospitals that has machine that can do chemotherapy for people who are suffering from cancer. The entire northern part of this country, the only one machine that is working is in the University of Sokoto Teaching Hospital. That one also it broke down about a week ago. So it means all those who are having cancer problems that are being treated, even those that are coming from Maiduguri, Borno State, they have all been transferred to Sokoto for treatment. And the same Sokoto machine now has broken down. I wish somebody can go to the University of Sokoto as I'm talking. You go and check where they are treating people with cancer problem. You will cry for Nigerians. These are little ones that ordinary chemotherapy can heal within the shortest possible time. You see them even sitting and lying down outside, waiting for the day in which this machine will be resolved. We will That's the only place now where you can see those machines. It is only at Enugu and in Lagos. Even the one in UCH, where the king of Saudi Arabia, I don't know whether most of us are aware, when the king of Saudi Arabia was sick in 1974-75, they brought them to University of Ibadan, the UCH University of Ibadan, then in 1974-75. Because in Africa, UCH was one of the best in the world. They brought them. Today, even their slaves cannot be brought to Nigeria because they know that nothing will be there for them. It is this same country that many people will come and learn. Many people will have the opportunity to come for their scholarship from UK, from everywhere. It is that same country that we are not seeing again when we are growing up. Those who travel abroad to go and study are those who cannot make it well in Nigeria because we discover that they will be feeling shy because their results were not good. They will now transfer them to travel abroad to go and read because they are not too brilliant like some of our leaders who are around. Today, it is those who reach that can go to that country. For those of you that you have been alive, you have been witnessing the growth or the otherwise of Nigeria since about 30, 40, 50 years ago, and you see what is happening today. Wallahi, if you are sincere, you will cry for this nation. But notwithstanding, let us now look at the effect. Perhaps we'll not just be talking. Let's look at what exactly we are missing because of this corruption. One, economic corruption leads to the misallocation of resources, deterring foreign investment, and increasing the cost of doing business. This hinders economic growth and exacerbates poverty. It means more than 50 to 60% of Nigerian population, because of the economic corruption, many people will be poor, which we are seeing today. I'm even pitying those that are rich among us, because the moment they see you calling them, they are afraid that you want to beg. True, we want to beg, because people do not have what to eat. And the few ones among us who Allah has blessed, it means they too will not be able to sleep, because the poor are not sleeping. Almighty Allah will support us. And we also look at the social inequality. Corruption disproportionately affects the most vulnerable members of the society. When public funds are siphoned away, essential services such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure suffers, widening the gap between the rich and the poor. And at the end of the day, there will be loss of trust. Corruption erodes public trust in institutions and leaders. When citizens believe that their leaders are corrupt, they become disillusioned and disengaged from civic participation, undermining the democratic process. Even when government is sincere and government is true about what they wanted to do, because people do not trust them again, you have to convince and convince before we believe you. Until we see you doing it practically, before we can now believe you. No amount of public understanding or public presentation can make us to believe you. But we have to see what you are doing, that this is also true. Also, it leads to moral decadence. The normalization of practices leads to culture of dishonesty and unethical behavior. When corruption becomes the norm, it diminishes the moral fabric of society and fosters a sense of hopelessness. People believe that they do not have hope in this country. But we cannot continue to be complaining and complaining. As Muslims, what do we do? Because we still have Muslims in position of leadership. They are listening to us, and I believe they will also listen. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as Muslims, we are called to be agents of change and advocates of integrity. The Prophet was reported to have said that the leaders of a people are their guardians and they are responsible for their subjects. This hadith emphasizes responsibility that leaders have in ensuring justice and upholding ethical standards. We must hold our leaders accountable and demand transparency in governance from them. Moreover, each of us has a role to play in combating corruption. One, we have to promote ethical conduct. As individuals, we must hold the values of honesty and integrity in our daily lives. Whether in our workplaces, communities, or homes, we should strive to be examples of ethical behavior. Small actions, such as refusing to engage in bribery and dishonesty, can collectively make a significant impact. We should not just only be complaining and abusing our leaders. Start doing something, no matter how small, from your own end, it will make a lot of impact. We must educate ourselves and others about the harmful effects of corruption. Knowledge is a powerful tool in combating corruption. When people understand its consequences, they are more likely to resist and report unethical behavior. Community programs, workshops, and discussion can help raise awareness and foster culture of integrity and understanding. Let me give you an example that many people they need education about what is called corruption. During the course when Al-Habibiyah, we have a program called Project It Halal, where we are training imams and religious leaders on anti-corruption. We met a woman who said she has been selling grains to one man in government. And after our training on anti-corruption, she now raised up her hand and she started crying that she has been cheating the man that she used to sell something for. If the man demanded for a bag of rice, a bag of gero, that they will remove at least one model or two from each of all the bags they're selling to the man. After our training, she now understood that she has been very corrupt. And she took one bag of those grains to the man that she has been selling to. When she got to where that man lives, the man has retired and things became hard for him. And when she returned it, the man was crying when he accepted what the woman brought as a proceed of corruption. The woman said she prostrated to thank Allah that Allah has made her to understand what corruption is actually be. Most of us don't understand what corruption is. We always think that it is the ministers, it is the governor, it is the president that they are corrupt. I'm thinking that we ourselves, that we are even more corrupt than those people that we are abusing. But because our own, we do not mention it, and that is why we assume that only those people are corrupt. All of us, we should search the way we do our things. And also, we should support anti-corruption initiatives in our area. We should encourage civic engagement, and active participation in civic life is essential for us as Muslims. As citizens, we must hold our leaders accountable, and we must demand transparency and governance. This includes voting for candidates who demonstrate integrity and commitment to fighting corruption, as well as participating in community discussion about ethical governance. As we are moving to another year of election, perhaps it's far. I think we have to start on time. Let us all decide that the person that we are going to vote for this time around is the person that he can assure us that he will fight corruption, even to remain only him, that we will also is the one that we are going to vote for. And we will also have a kind of relationship, working relationship with those people that we want to vote for next one. They should ensure that the people that they will appoint are people who will also join them in fighting corruption. We have seen leaders who are interested in fighting corruption, but the people around them will not allow them to succeed. We have seen a president who said he did not even know that people are suffering. He said it in public television because he didn't know, true, Because the people around him, they did not allow him to see the truth of the matter that the people are suffering. This is the type of thing that now we have to be talking to ourselves. We have to be talking to our hearts that this time around, if we do not do this, if we do not do something about this corruption, I assure all of us, something will do all of us. And the most important, and the last one, is prayer. Lastly, we must turn to Allah in prayer, asking for guidance and strength to resist the temptation of corruption. Allah has told us that He will never put anything that man cannot put on Him, that we should understand and we should appreciate that fighting corruption and supporting those who will fight corruption is one thing that will help us in this world and in the hereafter. Because if we are not careful, you think that it is only those who are there. You will not be able to sleep well. You will not be able to eat well. You will not be able to walk well. You will not be able to reason well because the corruption around you has eaten into the fabric of our system. We pray Almighty Allah in His infinite mercy to continue to support and bless us all the time. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha al fahsha wal munkar wal baghi ya'izukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Allah commands justice, the doing of good, and leave that to it and king. He forbids all shameful deeds, injustice, and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. We want to use this opportunity to pray for one of our sheikh, our malams, who answered Allah's call this morning in Ibadan, Sheikh Muhyiddin Ajani Bello. We pray that Allah should forgive him and bless him and make his grave a paradise for him. Allahumma la tadallanna fi maqamina hadha dhanba illa ghafarta wa la hamma illa faradta wa la dayna illa qadayta wa la marida illa shafaita wa la mubtala illa afaita wa la dawlan illa hadaita wa la asiran illa yasarta برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. قوموا إلى الله.